What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video, and this one I want to break down what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down what happened with the economic calendar and how this is affecting the markets, and a very, very important level for Tesla, which we need to see Tesla maintain. Before I break anything down, all this information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I am firstly not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire Tesla community as a whole. Anyways, let's break down what's going on with the charts and the markets. Looking at Tesla's thing is currently at 261 right now, holding up quite nicely. But there is one thing I just want to mention, and that is we got a bullish breakout. We were talking about Tesla potentially breaking 258. This ended up playing out very nicely. And I told you we need to see Tesla break this yellow resistance right over here. I got a nice break above that. This was the previous support. Then we broke above that and we ended up testing this orange trend line. I had this drawn out the whole time. This was from the previous resistance levels that we had historically. So basically, Tesla has been doing very well. If anything, it's outperforming the market. But there's one thing that's going on that's very important. So Tesla pumped very nicely, got a big push. Very, very awesome to see as there's a lot of momentum, lots of excitement about their deliveries, and lots of talk from analysts and investors that Tesla's going to beat on deliveries. But here's the thing about it: as it pushed very nicely, we hit 263.34. This was actually just aligned with this resistance, the orange trend line of resistance, right? And then Tesla's been slowing down. It's been just kind of consolidating, trading sideways. Now it's getting it's kind of like dropping just a bit on the 30 minutes time frame, and we're starting to get a negative PPO crossover. We kind of lack volume right now. But look at the 20 EMA at this 260.72 area. That happens to be very close to where the yellow trend line happens to be right here. So we need to see Tesla basically try to hold this yellow trend line. If we could hold above this, that's going to be a very good sign for tomorrow and the rest of the week. Tesla could hold up very nicely and make a very, very bullish move. So right now, I want to make this as clear as possible. If we maintain the yellow trend line, we can see Tesla continue to uptrend and remain bullish. Just like this moment here, Tesla hit the yellow trend line, it bounced, hit it, it bounced, it bounced, it bounced, held very, very nicely for almost a week. This was a very, very good trend on Tesla. But then it broke below this, treated this as resistance, came back down, then managed to break back up today. So you want to see Tesla basically come like this, even if we get a little bit of a false break, as long as we come back in this uh, in this pattern, we could try to push up and just uptrend very slowly, very nicely for the remainder of the year if we maintain the yellow trend line. That's a very, very important support going into the end of the year. If Tesla could hold this, it's going to be in a very good place to continue to push up. But if Tesla, hypothetically, if Tesla fails to do so, right, SPY has a rising wedge, so does the QQQ. There's a risk of those playing out, and we could see like a little drop, but it doesn't mean the market has to end weak. The market could still bounce at the end of the year. Again, I'll be showing you guys some visuals a little bit later, but if Tesla loses this yellow trend, this is going to be a very important support. Our next level is going to be 260. Got to try to hold this, right? We had this previous resistance right here becoming support, this 260 area. If that fails us, we have 258 being tested next before this thing attempts to bounce. But I just wanted to call that out, guys. Make sure you watch these levels very carefully. We have to try to hold this yellow trend line, so watch that as time goes on. What are some levels on Tesla? As a reminder, the yellow trend line is going to be our first support, so watch and see if Tesla can hold that. If we break it, and it's currently around like 260.8-ish, like around there, that also aligns with the 30 minutes 20 EMA. That's a very, very important support. They're all aligning. Nice confluence of support right over there. If we lose this, there's going to be 260, and then there's 258 coming next. If that fails us, there's 255 to 256, 254, 252, and 250. These are just all the supports. I wanted to call them out for you. And then for resistance, if Tesla bounces off of this and starts pushing up, watch 262.5, then we have 264 to 265 with the yellow, not the yellow, the orange resistance happens to be up here, and above that we have 266 coming. So in my opinion, it's holding up very nicely. It's favoring the bulls. I think Tesla could attempt to try to close above this yellow trend line. It is starting to downtrend just a little bit right now. You guys can see how it's kind of downtrending. Watch and see if support holds. I'm going to be optimistic on this one. Let's hope Tesla holds above the yellow trend line for now. But one thing that could make it a little bit more difficult for Tesla would be what's happening with SPY. So SPY is holding up nicely, right? It's trying to maintain, the current levels, but you could argue that we have like a rising wedge like pattern starting to develop right here. it hasn't played out yet, and it could try to invalidate this. But the only thing about SPY is that we keep hitting this like 476 zone and kind of like reject off it. We're just consolidating very sideways price action today. We were basically stuck for the majority of the day between 475 and 476. So could this thing try to maintain this area and just kind of like push and push and push? Yes, but I need to see this thing close above 476 and hold above 476. If it manages to achieve that, if it holds above those levels, we could be looking for a move to 478 and invalidate this rising wedge. But if the wedge does play out, we need to see this thing basically lose 475 and close below that. If that ends up happening either today or tomorrow, there could be a little pullback like this to about the 474 area, but this could just be a trap for Thursday since there are lots of shorts expiring for Friday, and then Friday could come. Even if we do pull back just a little bit because of the rising wedge, it could still get bought back up for Friday and then push its way right back for a very, very strong close like this. We could still get a very good close for Friday, even if we do get a little pullback right over here. If we do pull back here, watch the support very nicely, and we could just bounce from there anyways. So my point in saying this is because if we do end up seeing this rising wedge play out a bit by tomorrow, don't turn into a perma bear. Don't expect this thing to just go crazy and just die and crash down to the 460s just because there's a rising wedge. That does not make any sense. This could be a trap. It could just drop a little bit and still get bought up because of all this shorts expiring for Friday. And there could be one more push still coming afterwards if we do get a little bit of a drop. Okay. So could the drop come? Yes, but don't become too bearish just because you see something like that play out. So just be careful with this rising wedge, guys. Just be very careful. That's my warning for everyone. SPY has resistance at 476. We also have 476.5 as resistance. We have support at 475 that's holding it nicely. If that fails us, we have 474.8 followed by 474.5 and 474 as support. Okay, a rising wedge is forming. Could we break down just a bit? It is possible for tomorrow, but don't turn too bearish. It could always get bought back up by Friday and give us a very strong close for the end of the year. On the QQQ, we also have a rising wedge like pattern, but it's still holding up for now. The question is, are we just going to continue to just try to hold this push up for now, just like this, and just continue to push for the end of the year? And then we finally see a move going into next year. Is that what's about to happen? Or are we about to see this kind of like play out now where we kind of like pull back a little bit towards the breakout area, then we bounce, we pull back for Thursday and bounce for Friday and just start pushing for an end of the year squeeze, and we just close very strong for the year before next year comes? It's got to be one of those two. For now, just watch resistance on the QQQ at this 411 area. If we break this, we have 412 or very close to 412 as resistance. For support, make sure you watch 410. If that fails us, then we have 409.5 followed by 408. As of right now, make sure you watch the wedge. We'll see if this holds or not, and we'll just be very patient in the process. Finally, on Aapl, I'm going to talk about Aapl, then Nvda before I end the video. Aapl, in my opinion, is looking okay. I was saying that we have a falling wedge on it. It's trying to break, but here's the issue with it. There's an issue. If you want to be bullish, you need to see a change in market structure. We need to see this thing basically do this, come back down and close above 193.5 or so and start this uptrend. It hasn't done that so far. If anything, I said 193.5 is the level to watch for. We've tried to break up, but we rejected off 193.5. Now we're just kind of chopping around. So Apple is still kind of weak. If we break back into this wedge, we're bearish. If we manage to bounce and break 193.5, we could turn a little bullish. And if we're just stuck where we are, we're just going to be range trading for an extended period of time, and it's going to remain kind of boring. My gut is telling me it's going to remain range bound for an extended period of time. Unfortunately, it's not going to get the break yet, and we'll have to wait some time before we see anything like that. All right. So that being said, Apple's trying to break out of the falling wedge, but it's failed so far. It's kind of like range bound. Make sure you watch support at 192.5 and you watch 192 and watch resistance at 193.5 followed by 194.4. In my opinion, watch both of these levels, be very, very careful, and we'll just have to see how it goes. When it comes to Nvda, let me just call out Nvda. Nvda right over here has a nice, this also looks like a rising wedge, but here's the thing about it. There's no sign of this playing out just yet. I called out 497 on Nvidia. We actually reached 496.5, came just short of that. So we're going to be watching to see if we hold this wedge. Do we continue to push up a little bit longer towards the end of the year, and then we get a break next year as soon as next year starts? Or are we about to break now, like for the much shorter term, get a false break like this, and then we bounce, push back up? It depends on how we end up opening tomorrow. As of right now, it's maintaining this wedge, so I would presume it's going to continue to do so. There's a good chance that Nvidia will just maintain this wedge like this for just a few more days, and then we break down later on. So we'll just have to see how it goes, but make sure you guys are very careful with these wedges that are forming. Tesla right now, it's trying to hold up. It's at support at 261. It's approaching our yellow trend line right now. It's getting very close. It's very tight. Be careful on Tesla, guys. Let's see if Tesla could hold and close above the yellow trend line. So I'm going to show you one more time. Let's see if Tesla can close above this. It needs to do so for this thing to remain in favor of the bulls. If it fails to do so, it's not going to be the best of signs. So just be very careful on Tesla. We'll see how it goes, guys. Make sure you watch for that and do what you have to do. Anyways, that's it for this video. Have an absolutely spectacular rest of the day. Remain calm, cool, and collected. And I hope that I provided some value into your guys' lives and for your trading in this video. Thank you. Have a great day, guys. I'll see you very soon. And peace out.